All right, and we're live. This is ABL Live. My name is Anthony Brown Logan, and today I have a very special guest. This is actually my first guest that I've done a full-length interview with, so it's going to be pretty good. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I have the lovely Miss Martina Markota with me today. She is in New York City, and she has an interesting story about how New York City liberals did her in a very, I would say, intolerant way. So before we get into all of that, before we break down all of what's going on, Martina, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, thanks for having me. Today, I'm Martina, but I'm also known as Lady Alchemy. That's my stage name.
All right. Cool. So we got Martina in here, and we're gonna get straight into it. And the first thing I want to talk about is your story, your backstory. You were a performance artist. You were a burlesque dancer in New York City, and something happened that kind of forced you out of the industry. Am I kind of on the right track here?
Yeah, I mean, currently I am forced out. I had to really dig up some bookings today, and I found a few in July and scattered here and there, but only a few months ago, I was full time. I mean, I was making a few grand a week. I was traveling the world. I was in demand. I couldn't say yes to it. I couldn't say yes to enough gigs. There's just too many happening. And then slowly within a few months, a little bit before the election and then afterwards, people started to catch on what I was about and what my politics about and some of the stuff that I've been doing in my real name, in my real life. And in burlesque, our real names are sacred, and they've made a mission to out me, out my real life persona and what my politics are, and to destroy my career, absolutely destroy it.
Wow, it's really a shame. I got a little bit of echo. I can hear feedback from you.
Is that me?
It might be.
What?
I think it's gone now.
Okay.
I think you're good. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, that's it's really unfortunate, and the whole thing behind this is you're conservative leaning, your support for Donald Trump. I guess when they found out, hey, she's a Trump supporter, it's time to tar and feather her. It's time to just, make her be a big pariah in the community rather than being tolerant, rather than being open. Because if you're talking about liberals, especially like in very liberal concentrated cities, I always think about everybody being free, everybody being loving, everybody being able to embrace one another. But it's not quite that way when your opinion is not the same as theirs.
No, and I mean, these are even people that were my friends, people that spent lots of time with me, and they know that I'm just like a really nice person. I would never hurt anyone or say mean things, and I always treat people with respect, and if they respect me, I give respect back. And when they found this out, they turned real hard. They got real nasty. And I mean, they're bringing up Nazis and KKK and white supremacy, all these really ridiculous things that I don't think they have any proof of.
Yeah, and that's interesting. It's like, why do they bring up Nazi? Why do they bring up KKK? I really don't understand that. It's like,
I told my agent, because my agent brought this up to me, and she's like, what's this all about? Everyone's saying this, everyone's saying you're a Nazi and all this stuff. I said, I've never said Nazi coming out of my mouth so many times since this election. Like, they are obsessed with Nazis right now.
Yeah, and it's weird. I think it's kind of a form of projection, honestly, in my opinion, because a lot of what they do, a lot of what the left does, the extremists on the left, I don't want to say all, I want to preface that. I don't want to say all, because there's a lot of good people out there that are on the left, but the extremists, the one that really want to see you just burn, they exude a lot of the Nazi characteristics themselves.
Yeah, it's really funny because between me and my friends, we call them burlesque Nazis. So it's funny they're calling me a Nazi and all this stuff, but their tactics, what they've been doing, and their persistence on ruining me and spreading this stuff, we call them burlesque Nazis. So it's this joke that we always have. We're like, oh, the burlesque Nazis. So yes, it's projection. I totally agree.
Absolutely. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. It's like, they're against free speech. They want to tell on you. That's one thing that the Nazis did. They'll tell on you. They'll spread the word, and then it's like, if anybody has any kind of different kind of leanings, you gotta rat them out. You gotta tell on them. It has to spread to the top.
Yeah, if you'll notice some of the screen caps that I've sent you, they definitely were like that. It's like, let's sniff out the Nazi, let's hunt her down, let's get him. And I've had other people, whether they're photographers, other performers, anyone that kind of defends me or is even understanding. And I have some, like you said, there's some decent liberal people. I have some classical liberal friends, and they consider themselves liberal, and they've defended me a bit, and even they get the treatment. They get the, you're associated, you know, so you get the same treatment as Martina gets because you're associated to her, you defend her.
Exactly. That's the way it was back in Nazi times too, because it was like the Jews that were hiding out. Yep. It's like, you know, okay,
you're in trouble.
Yeah, you're in trouble. You're hiding that person in your basement. How dare you? Now we're going to bring you out here, and now you're in trouble. Now you have to be in the same boat as them, and it's really crazy. But you know, that's kind of that's the state of America. But was it always like this? I mean, was it always this way when it comes to the performing art field, or was it something that kind of came about as it relates to Donald Trump and his candidacy? Did that bring that about, or was it always like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it kind of reflects the general world. You know, yes, my industry is highly concentrated, SJWs. I'm not even talking about lefties. I'm talking about SJW, feminists. I mean, I know you have some young audience members, but like, I'll try to put this into some simple wording, but there's feminists that use female, you know, blood and stuff as representative of their performance art. You know, the extreme feminists that I'm talking about. So I'm in backstage, and I'll have a burlesque dancer talking about how Trump is literally a Hitler, and that he wants to round up the gays, Jews, and blacks and send them to concentration camps. I mean, this is literally coming out of their mouths, like verbatim. And it's just absolutely insane. And I mean, yes, we've seen that because of Trump. I mean, we've all kind of been seeing what's been going on and the changing and the craziness that they're up to. But yeah, I think I'm really in the hub of it for sure. And that's why I've gotten, and I don't think my life is destroyed by these people, because it just doesn't make sense to most normal people.
It doesn't make any sense, because a normal person, really, for what I see, a lot of us that are kind of into politics like me, I'm really deep into politics, so I talk about it a lot, but the average person is not really that into politics. They pretty much just live their life as normal. It's not really this big thing that encompasses all of their everyday. So when you're talking about people that are really so hateful when it comes to politics, that's not a normal thing. This is not a normal way to behave. So I'm not really sure if that's because they're trying to perform in a way. They're trying to say, you know what, I'm not for that. I'm totally against it. I'm an SJW. I'm a liberal. I want everybody to know it. It may be kind of a form of attention seeking. I'm not quite sure what that is.
Yeah, I mean, they even do acts where they'll burn an American flag. There's a lot of anti-Trump acts, you know, mocking politics and all that. And I simply watch, and I have my own opinion, and then I go in my real life and write a blog or make an appearance and talk about it in a decent way. And I do not do any politics in my performance as Lady Alchemy, none whatsoever. It's all about alchemy. That's what Lady Alchemy is about. So I like esoteric things and mysticism, alchemy, all that stuff, spirituality. That's the stuff I like to represent with my artwork. And then I decided, you know, to really get involved this past election cycle. And I said, well, you know, I'll use my real name because I'm allowed to do whatever I want in my real name. And when they found out, they, you know, outed it, and it made it such a big deal. And all people are telling me, well, why are you getting involved in politics? I said, what do you mean? You guys do acts that revolve around politics. I don't. I'm doing this separately. I don't see what it has to do with anything.
Right. See, it should be separate, but you know, people, they see the individual, they see the person, they don't really separate, you know, the persona from the actual person. And it should be able to be like that. It should be like being an actor or an actress. You know, you can go into a movie, you could portray a character, and that's fine for that particular point. But then in your life, you could be a different person. It doesn't have to be the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So speaking about, go ahead.
Just a complete lack of respect in general for people's, you know, opinions, their political efficacy, whatever they want to do in their private life. This is my private life. It has nothing to do with my art, and they dragged it through the mud.
Yeah, it's really a shame. So speaking about, you know, a persona, having a different persona, different from your everyday walk in life. Tell me a little bit more about Lady Alchemy, because before we started streaming here, you're saying that, like you just said, that you as Martina, that is one thing. You can have your point of view, you can have your political opinion, and that's something different than Lady Alchemy, the, I guess, character you portray. So tell me a little bit more about that, and tell me a little bit more about burlesque, because I'm not quite sure my audience really knows what that is. So I want you to kind of, you know, break it down for us.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to explain. I consider myself a performance artist. I do dabble in burlesque, and burlesque is like flapper girls, all these vintage costumes, very either 40s, 20s, different themes like that. Very extravagant costumes, feather fans, and really, I like the really classy, elegant, vintage kind of style that people in New York City, when they do parties and events, they like to have all this extra entertainment and beauty and performances and stuff. So that's kind of what I do. I performed at Google holiday party, you know, Google their holiday party in New York City. You know, all these big events in New York, they always pay for extravagant entertainment. And I don't know if you have any photos or anything. Did I send you any of my stuff?
Yes, I have some photos. I kind of see what, you know, what the direction. It's like 1920s, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
And then with Lady Alchemy, I like to have fun with my nerdy side and the alchemy that I'm obsessed with. I studied math, so I love math, science, and, you know, Leonardo da Vinci and Isaac Newton are my favorite people in history, and they were obsessed with alchemy. And so I just started digging deeper and deeper into alchemy. And as I became a performer, it just clicked. I said, wait a minute, let me kind of put the alchemy with my performance. And so I created, you know, these halos and very religious looking costumes. I like angelic, like the Virgin Mary, things like that. So I'm not doing it in a way to defile, you know, the Virgin Mary or religion by making it kind of sexy. I'm genuinely doing it out of respect, like out of adoration, out of trying to emulate this holy presence. And that's kind of what I like to do on stage, is be this holy, like, creature. And what I do this dancing that's called sculpture dancing. So kind of like when you're at the Metropolitan, we call it the Met. So the Met, the museum, and they have all these ancient Greek sculptures of you know, people, and they're like all in these beautiful, like, elegant poses, you know. So I just kind of slowly do these like elegant kind of slow movements. So that's kind of Lady Alchemy. It's religious looks and slow, you know, movements, and to be holy. I tend to not to speak to people and try to have this persona that's larger than life.
Sounds good. Sounds like a good time to me. I've never been to a show where that was featured at, but I love to go. It sounds like a good time. So, you know, I don't see how anybody that's doing that could be somehow tarred and feathered for their political views. I say, you know, go enjoy the show, go have fun. And that's pretty much what it is. Enjoy the art for what it is.
Yeah, well, people in my community are saying that I need to be stopped from performing because it could be, what do they say? It's a danger to people in the audience and stuff.
A danger? Really?
Yep. Me.
Wow, that's crazy. So your personal views wanting to vote for somebody that's dangerous. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, really, what the conservatism is all about and what Trump stands for is, you know, to make the country safer, make America great. So how can that be dangerous? You know, I really don't get it. It's weird.
I don't know if they genuinely think I'm a Nazi, but like, that's like what they're going with.
Right. That's you know, that's interesting. But, you know, I want to kind of switch topics a little bit. You said that you were a mathematics student, right?
Yes. Yeah. I studied at NYU mathematics.
And that's very interesting. You see, you know, I don't know math at all. You know, 2 + 2, I don't know what that is. You know, I'm not into math at all. So I think that's pretty interesting. And I think that it points to your level of intelligence. Like, you're not just doing things that don't make any sense. You have a very solid foundation upon your politics. You're not just doing it just because you're doing it for a very specific reason. And I think people should really be able to understand that if you're going to, you know, link somebody to their performance, link them with, you know, an intelligent thought process rather than just somebody that's, you know, trying to hurt people.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten comments from my coworkers that I need to like read a book or get educated and stuff. And these are people that are like on a pole or like, you know, just all day long. And I'm like, do you even know me? Like, I'm the biggest nerd in the world. I sit around, I don't watch reality TV. I don't have a TV. I go and I like listen to politics all day long. Like, I watch documentaries on history. Like, I could talk about history all day long. You know, I'm a nerd. I'm a bit of a, you know, weird autistic kind of nerdy girl, you know, and I love math. And you're right. And the math has logic. And that's the thing that I feel like a lot of artists are missing. They're so artistic and, but they don't have the logic. And I love logic.
Exactly. Left brain and right brain. That's very important. You know, me, I'm a graphic designer, so I kind of dabble in art a little bit, and I know how that is, using, you know, your logical side of your brain to solve a problem, but also using, you know, your right to make it be appealing, make it be marketable, make it something that people enjoy viewing and watching. That's very important. But some people don't use both sides of their brain. Is use one, just, you know, making things look pretty, making things look good, but they have no logic at all. It's just not even functioning.
Well, they say that when you activate both sides of your brain, there's like a center part that gets activated, and that's like a higher intelligence and aura energy that is emitted with that.
Maybe that's true.
Very important to use both.
Exactly. Maybe that center part of your brain that's on, but everybody else's is not really clicking. It's not really
that red gears right here.
the gears ain't turning all the way.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I think.
Wow. So yeah. I mean, and I also heard that you have Eastern European heritage. Is that true?
Yes, yes. That's another thing that they tend to forget too. They just like to throw my white privilege in my face all the time because, you know, all white people are the same. And and I have to keep telling them I'm first generation American. My family is from Croatia, and we left war. We left communism. We left war with Muslims and Catholic civil war and communism. So I innately hate communism, and I'm aware of Islamic, you know, spreading and, you know, that culture. So my mother's an immigrant. My sister, who's only a year and a half older than me, is not a U.S. citizen. She could not vote.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
the first one in my family that is a U.S. citizen and vote in being American. And a lot of these lefties absolutely hate America. They want it to go to shit. They think it's horrible. They borders, and we don't deserve this land because we're all slave owners and stuff. And I'm just like, hello, we're slaves in Europe. What are you talking about?
Exactly. People don't think about that. They just have a very narrow mind, a very narrow-minded perspective. They don't think about the world being bigger than just their neighborhood, their country. They don't think about other places and their history, very long history, especially like Croatia. You're talking about what was that? Former Yugoslavia, right?
Yeah. My sister was born in Yugoslavia. Yeah.
Yeah, so you know that's a whole big deep history right there. You're talking about the Austro-Hungarian Empire, a lot of different things in that general region. They don't think about. All they think about is, oh, you're white, you own slaves. It's like, well, I just got here the other day, so no.
Basically, yeah, and it's just amazing the hypocrisy and the lack of. Oh God, I just can't even. You know, every once in a while, I start to think, well, am I right about this right-wing stuff? You know, let me be rational here. Am I being brainwashed? Am I thinking about this clearly? Am I just going along with ideology? And then I kind of peek at the left a little and I go, Jesus, no. I was like, I cannot subscribe to that. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I know how it is, you know, especially coming from the Black community. That's a whole different ball of wax right there. I mean, just by being a conservative, you're like ostracized immediately just for the color of your skin is crazy. And, you know, you get to thinking about it because you keep hearing it over and over again from people that, you know, you love, people that are close to you, friends, family, etc. Why are you doing this? Why are you a conservative? Why are you Uncle Tom Coon, etc.? But it's like, it makes you think. It's like, am I doing the right thing? But then, like you say, I just look over and see what they're doing. I'm like, no. I'm I'm right. I'm 100% right. I'm more than right.
Sorry.
Exactly, 100%. Yeah, so that's wow. I mean, the Eastern European thing, that's definitely something interesting. 'Cause I have a lot of European subscribers that watch, and a lot of what I say when it relates to the politics, they agree because you know of the history of the nation, especially the Muslim influence. You're talking about Albania, Kosovo, and stuff like that. How it influences Croatia and that general region. So
yeah, I remember being a kid and my family packing up canned food and stuff like that to go send to Europe during the war.
Yeah, I mean, it's really serious. People don't know nothing about that. They don't know about the history of it, and also how the Islamic influence can really corrupt a place. I mean, do you see Donald Trump as a guy that wants to stop a lot of the things that have happened in Europe before from happening here?
Yeah, wait, which one? Where?
Well, in Europe in
All
general,
Europe? Just all of Europe? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
especially like in the Balkan area,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, totally. I mean, and that's kind of what my point is when they tell me to travel and be educated, and that they say that I'm being brainwashed by people on the right. I go, do you even know me? Like, I've been conservative for like ever. This is like in my blood, you know. I was raised this way. And yeah, well, that's what I say about Trump as well, is that he's protecting us from what happened in Europe. We're so lucky. I am so thankful that we won because
right.
we really did save ourselves from some hell that would have been there if Hillary Clinton was there.
Oh yeah, because she's open borders all day long, talking about let them in, seeing refugees just flood, and it's like, why would you do that? ISIS, they've said that they're going to put terrorists within the refugees. They've said that on camera, and it's like, okay, if they're saying something like that, maybe we should believe them, especially since you can look to Europe today, places like Germany, Sweden, etc., where they've had so-called refugees come into their country and bring terror and bring violence. It's not to say that all of them are going to be like that. Of course not. But
right. Yeah.
there's a risk.
Yeah. I mean, just look at the pattern of what's going on. And I mean, I think throughout history, they've showed that there's just a clash of civilizations. It's really, really hard. And they definitely have an intent that, like you said, they have actually said, yeah, we're going to infiltrate this way and get them this way. And we have to be smart and think about it instead of being politically correct. I mean, you go around, be politically correct all day long, and then next thing you know, you're screwed.
Right, exactly. The political correctness is not going to be, it's not going to help you too much in your country when, every other day you get a terror attack or a threat of a terror attack. You're going to wish and pray that you hadn't done that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, absolutely. So what else we got here? Now, as far as the industry that you're in, or the industry that you want to be in more, do you think it is able to be reformed? Do you think that a lot of what's going on as far as the culture clashes between liberal conservative, can it be healed at all?
Well, personally, I think this is a next article I'm going to write on my website, but it's about our second civil war. And no, I think that things are getting worse and worse with the two sides. And, I don't know what's going to happen, but as far as the arts in my industry, I have had people come to me during all of this drama when I was I mean, there were campaigns of hate against me. Like, people were making memes with my Lady Alchemy picture and saying,
oh, wow.
alt-right, alt-wrong, hate wears many faces, is what it says.
So it's like a lot of online bullying going on.
Oh, there's like complete campaigns going on and on and on and on, to the point where people all over the world, not even the country, all over the world that were in this community came, and some people were like, hey, I'm sorry, this cat, do you have to make, he has to make noise when I'm busy doing something. And there are these campaigns of hate, and people all over the world, different countries, came to me and said, hey, I saw what's happening to you, what they're doing to you. Just want to let you know they're crazy, and I agree with you. A lot of them, even other performers, have said that they agree with me and they're rooting me, but they can't go public with it because they'll get the same treatment as I've gotten. But my goal is, they also have said that they want to push me out of New York. They said, let's get her out of New York. She's banished. Like, we don't want anything to do with her. I'm born and raised in New York, just like Trump.
Right, right.
And it's like, no, you go back to Kentucky or Idaho or wherever I was like, I'm the New Yorker. And my mission is to not run away, but to stay and change the culture for sure. So I'll gather like-minded people. I'll, keep doing what I'm going to do. And I think it's our duty to be around a lot. I also know a lot of other artists, like fine artists that draw and paint and stuff like that are in Brooklyn, that are in New York, and they found me and they said, oh my God, another artist in Brooklyn. And so it's important for us to stay together and collaborate and just to support each other. So I think we'll have a little movement and hopefully a little shift of culture happening to the arts. I think it's important. We need to start infiltrating. The left has done such a good job at infiltrating the arts, and I can't, that's why I don't watch TV, because I can't watch a movie. I can't watch a show. I see these little digs all the time, you know, at all these little things, and I'm just like, I can't watch this. I'm done, you know, like, so, I was trying to watch a movie about the Knights Templar. I was like, yay, I love the Knights Templar. And it was just like horrible. They made the Knights Templars the bad guys, beheading people. Out of all the people to be beheading, the Knights Templar, not the Muslims, right? And they made the Muslims these passionate, good people. And the guy, the main character of the Knights Templar, ended up wearing a turban on his head and shit. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm done. Like, I wanted to see some cool shit. But that's just an extreme example, because I mean, yes, we're talking about the Crusades. It's very, very extreme. But even in things that don't revolve around that, I mean, it could be any sort of thing where just a casual show, and you hear these little digs and marks, and you know, this certain perspective, you know, that they have in their show is all left leaning, and I think we need some of ours, not outwardly like conservative, like MAGA conservative show, but maybe just something where you see like a normal family, and you know, they don't have to have or this. I mean, not there's anything wrong with that, but there's just like every single show, like all the time, there's just this lefty shit, and it's like, can we just have like the good old days shows, like at least one show that's kind of normal?
Yeah, I mean, it was like that in the past. You had shows, even like Golden Girl, stuff like that, or before that, even Mary Tyler Moore, Dick Van Dyke. You know, nice.
Yeah,
exactly. Nice.
Work hard, they go to work. They have a nice healthy relationship as a couple. They're not cheating and doing all these weird things, and all the scandals have to happen. It's like, why can't they just be good old fashioned shows?
Exactly. And I'm kind of with you. You know, I do watch TV, but basically it's just like local news and national news, and that's it. Maybe the occasional sports. But as far as the scripted shows, I can't watch it because I already know what's going on. I know that it's going to be a lot of SJW stuff. Like you said, it's like little digs. It's like little stuff. You can be enjoying it for a while. You sitting there, and all of a sudden they come up with this little dig. It's like, come on, why would you do that? I was enjoying it, and then you do that.
Yeah, and it's usually for no reason. It's like, did you really have to do that? It's like really unnecessary. You could have just left that part out.
Yeah, it was. It's like, you know, it didn't relate to the plot at all. It was totally unnecessary. It's like something personal that the writer felt. It's like, I want to put that in there. It's like, man, come on. You know, don't do that to me. Just let me enjoy the show, and that's it.
I think we need some shows that have a little bit about personal responsibility or hard work, things like that, that aren't necessarily screaming right wing, but they have our ideals like in there somewhere, because they don't think about that. I mean, I was doing an event one time in the Hamptons, and I went with, you know, a troupe of us for performing, and I was with like a drag queen and a really young impressionable gay guy that I was with. He's really, really sweet, Hispanic too. Oh my god, my cat, she's like on a mission. Play with everything in this room until it stresses me out. And so we were going by, we had a lot of time before the show started, so we were kind of trying to walk to the beach or something, and we're walking around, and I mean, in the Hamptons, these houses were amazing, you know, like mansions, everyone's in, you know, Mercedes or BMWs. It's really, really, really wealthy people, and we're walking by, and my one friend goes, ugh, can you imagine? In a really like disgusted way. And I paused for a second and I went, yeah, you know, right. And the other friend, the younger one, went, oh my God, Martina, I never thought of it that way. You know, they're so used to hating the rich. They're bad people. They're evil. Ugh, they can't even imagine having that wealth. You have to think of it. You have to see yourself there before you can attain that sort of wealth. And I want that wealth. Who doesn't?
Exactly. Everybody wants it. Everybody's striving to want to have more in life. So why is it a bad thing? Why is being successful in your life a bad thing? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And I think those are the ideals. It's just shift the way they think, because I don't think they have heard our perspectives. I don't think they even have the idea of that. They haven't heard these things. And, you know, I feel bad for those millennials that just like are so ingrained and brainwashed, they haven't even heard these perspectives of, you know, work hard. Yeah, get it. See yourself in that position. Do it. Want that. You know, there's nothing wrong with wanting that. Work hard to get it. We're not all handed down this house and money. Like, come on, they all have jobs. They all figured something out, and anyone can get that.
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, that's the American dream, man. Everybody comes here from all over the world to pursue that.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I wanted to ask you one last thing as we wrap up here about Gavin McInnes and the show that you were on. Now, are you affiliated with the Proud Boys? What's going on with that? Tell me something about that.
Well, it's a love-hate relationship with the Proud Boys. Yeah, of course. Gavin's a friend of mine. That's kind of how I started making appearances and getting involved in this, was because I was a huge fan of his, watching YouTube and being a weirdo in my house, just watching Milo and Gavin and being like, yeah, oh my God, yes. And then having to go out in this world and be like, oh my God, these people. And then let me get home and watch this stuff. So I tweeted at him and I said, hey, what's up? You know, I'm a girl that can cook. Something about that, how women should, you know, be able to cook and stuff. I was like, hey, I got that. And so he said, come on the show. And we, you know, I started making appearances on the show, and then the Proud Boys thing kind of really broke out, you know, this past year. It's really been growing and getting a lot of attention. So yeah, I'm affiliated. It is a men's group, so I don't qualify as a Proud.
Right.
We do
That's not sexist, is it?
Well, I mean, the whole idea is to have like the old, kind of like a Knights of Columbus, an old men's group that they can get together and go, you know, have some camaraderie. And they have these silly rules like no flip-flops, which I was amazed because I thought I was the only person that hated flip-flops. I mean, I see girls go to the bar. I'm like, that is not a proper shoe. Why would you wear that?
Right.
So they have these like silly little things that are just like funny. But it's just more, they have no wanks, which is, you know, what that is. No pleasure in yourself. And it's all for the idea of being a better man. And, you know, when you can go out and meet and interact with women in real life, that's a better lifestyle to have instead of just sitting at home being a weirdo, you know, on your computer all the time, all night long. So, you know, Gavin just wanted to instill that type of thing. There is a little group of girls that, like Proud Boys girls, it's just, you know, on Facebook, we kind of just share our girly, a lot of them are housewives. It's all about venerating the housewives too, Proud Boys. So yes and no, it's weird. I am affiliated and I love them, I support them, but I am a girl, so I'm not allowed in the club.
But it's all good. So you kind of like a supporter, but not necessarily like inside the situation. You just cool with them, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, I get their back if they need it. And hopefully they get my back. Sometimes they don't, but most of them do.
But that's good. I mean, were you at the He Would Not Divide Us kerfuffle that happened in New York when they were there? Were you involved with that? Did you see it? Like, was
that the big one? Like that big kerfuffle? There's a lot of people there, and like Sam Hyde and all those like people.
Yeah, I think Gavin had got punched or something. Something happened.
No. I think that was when there was two things. Gavin got punched. No, Gavin punched someone.
Okay.
At, the inauguration in DC. I wasn't there. They were going to the Deplorable. That was Antifa, though, that they were dealing with. So those are some vile, nasty people, which I have had interactions with as well. I think that contributed to my co-workers and my employers being like, well, what is this about? Because they don't understand the world. They don't know what Antifa is. They don't know who Proud Boys is. They don't know, you know, they thought Milo was my boyfriend. They're sitting there chat rooms going, yeah, her boyfriend's from England because my fiance is from England. And they're like, yeah, her fiance is Milo Yiannopoulos. And I'm like sitting there laughing my ass off at them trying to figure my world out, you know?
Right.
They don't know what's going on. They have no idea what Antifa is. It's just insane. So yeah, that was Antifa. And then Gavin was speaking at NYU not too long ago. And that's when they were entering there, he got maced. So yeah, that was the situation there.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's crazy, man. That the whole situation was crazy. I was watching that like, wow. I mean, so the Antifa, did they come to your like place of employment? Did they were they present when some of your coworkers were present at the same time? And then the people that you work with, they're like, who are these people? Like, how did they know
Yeah,
about Antifa?
I'm not even sure if they can still comprehend that Antifa exists and that all of their hateful knowledge comes from them. But basically, I had an election night party in New York City for the Proud Boys and with Gavin and all sorts of amazing people. And Antifa wrote about New York City neo-Nazis, the Proud Boys, and this election night party. And they showed my picture and they listed
Oh,
my name, they listed my stage name, they listed my employers, they listed my hometown, which is
oh
very,
wow. So they doxed you.
yeah, they essentially doxed me. So the burlesque Nazis saw this article. I mean, I shared it because I thought it was absolutely hilarious because it
Right.
was it was like a piece of satire that I thought it was really funny. And so I posted it, and the burlesque Nazis are obsessed with stalking me, and they're like, "Oh, let's see what she's doing. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh, that's so god." So then they saw this post. I'm assuming because I mean, why would they be reading some Antifa blog?
Right.
And so I'm assuming they saw me post it because they're obsessed with me. And they took it as fact, and they went around to my employers. That I think Antifa also does call the employers. They harass and they will call, and they did have the name of my employer listed. So
Wow.
I'm assuming Antifa on top of the burlesque Nazis taking it out of control because they don't know what Antifa is, and they just see this article and they're just like, "Oh my god, see, it's proof she's a Nazi." And like, agent was sending me the article. What is this? Everyone's saying this is proof you're a Nazi. What is this? What's Proud Boys? I'm just like, oh my god, you guys, just get out of my life. No idea what you're talking about, you know? And I had to explain, like, I still don't think they realize that the rioters in DC, the rioter, you know, during the inauguration, the rioters at UC Berkeley during Milo's speech, I don't think they really connected the dots that Antifa, these crazy rioters, is the same people that wrote that article. You know, it's like they can't even fathom who wrote the article. They don't remember. They don't know. They can't put two and two together. They just saw the article and used it as, you know, in, proof to get me in trouble. But then all this stuff is going on in the real world, and they can't connect the dots that this article was written at mace and throw bricks into windows and loot. So it's like, guys, can you just like talk about stuff you know and just stay out of politics, please?
See, I didn't even know that. I didn't know that. See, I thought Antifa was like a rogue group of people that just go out and commit violence. But you're saying that they're actually like people that write articles. They call your employer.
Yep.
They do much more than just go out there and riot, basically.
Yeah, they ruined them and the burlesque Nazis together without. I don't know if the burlesque Nazis even know about it, but together they ruined my life. I am now working a day job, 9 to 5. So.
Wow. See, that's interesting right there. See, I think that's something that has to be addressed more because when I hear about Antifa, mostly I hear about them just being like a rogue group of warriors, people that just go out there and just throw bottles and rocks, but it's much deeper than that.
No, they dox. They dox and they call employers. Many of the Proud Boys have gotten fired. I mean,
oh, wow.
Really? I think that's like a whole article in itself is how like just we keep getting fired. Like every once in a while, there's a new post. Hey, another Proud Boy fired. Hey, someone's fired. Because, you know, even people that kind of get it and sympathize and they kind of understand us a little bit, eventually it just becomes too much because they keep getting these calls and, you know, things. And it's just like, I don't want to, you know, God forbid you work at a place and it's on Yelp. You know, all Antifa will go on Yelp and be like, a Nazi works there. Nazi works there. You know, your employer is like, well, I don't want this. Like, you're great, you know, employee, but you know, I can't have all these Yelp reviews saying I have a Nazi working here. So like, I'm going to have to let you go.
Wow. That's deep.
How,
you see, in my situation, I'm self-employed. So luckily I don't have to go through that. So I can support people like you in my own way. I don't have to worry about Antifa trying to come get me. But yeah, I mean, that's crazy. If you work for an employer, I mean, what are they going? Their hands are tied. If they get calls, if they get their Yelp, you know, basically lit up with negative comments, they have no choice.
Yeah. And I mean, self-employed as well. I have like venues that I'll work, and I have my agent, and I'll do these, you know, gigs where people don't know who I am. They just know, okay, performer, that's great. There's a party. It's a party's bigger than me. No one cares about me. You know, I'm just one of the dancers there. But the community is so small that the other performers are telling my booker, my agent, that they refuse to do bookings that I'm on. So now suddenly I have less bookings, you know. Then it becomes, oh, you're still employing her? I'm really mad, you know. And then it goes, okay, less bookings. Don't tell anyone that you're doing this gig, you know. And it's just like suddenly I don't really have any gigs coming up anymore. And yeah, I have to go out and try to find gigs myself. But again, it's New York City. There's millions of people, but it's still a small community. So it's like every time I get a new opportunity, other burlesque girls, just like Antifa, start going, hey, blah, 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 blah. Oh my God, she booked her and she's a Nazi, da, da, da. And it's like, can I just like, okay, I don't work at the venue you work at anymore. Can you just leave me alone now? Like, are you happy with yourself? Do you want me to kill myself? Like, that's what you want? Like, that makes you happy? Like, I don't know.
Well, it's wild. It's definitely wild. So, you know, I think a lot of us that are in the community that I'm in, that as far as, you know, being politically inclined, being on the right, a lot of us can help you with what you have going on. And I got a few links in the box, in the description box. If anybody's watching this and you want to assist, you want to go to the website, you want to go to the Patreon and donate for her, not necessarily for me. I definitely appreciate that. The links are in the box. So tell everybody how to reach you, your website, whatever you want to.
Yes. I have a whole lot of social media going on. So yeah, you mentioned Patreon. I mean, it's really dire needs for me right now. New York City rent, and I'm completely being ruined. And so I'm hoping that my political work I can do more of that, you know? I mean, I would love to do Lady Alchemy stuff as well, and when it's the right situation, and not force myself to be around horrible burlesque Nazis. But the political work, yeah, I'd really love to do that, because I have a YouTube channel that I've started myself. It's called Con Artist. Get it? Because I'm a conservative artist.
Big long words.
Yeah, exactly. So you can always just YouTube Martina Con Artist. I'll pop up. You know, watch that. My website is martinamarkota.com. MartinaMarkota.com. You could see all my material there. Social media, Instagram at Martina Markota. Same with Twitter. All that stuff.
All right, Facebook. There it is. You said Facebook too?
Facebook likes, please do it all. Help me out, because, you know, I have nothing now except you guys, and whatever state you're in, or if they're looking for a Trump burlesque girl, I'll go on tour soon, and I'm hoping to get some more press out of this situation that happened to me, and go to the states that love Trump, and I'll be the Trump girl, and hopefully I can perform.
Hopefully so. You know, you guys go to the website, see some of the photos. They're very beautiful, they're very tasteful. I think you'll appreciate them, and you'll appreciate her artwork in general. And that was Martina Markota. Thank you for joining me. I definitely appreciate you. Thank you to everybody in the chat for hanging out with me. Thanks for having me, Anthony. Oh, I appreciate it. And then that's pretty much all I got. So if you like what you heard so far, go check her out and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And that'll be it. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.